All right, so you're starting to get more people rioting over this lockdown of America and the overextended use of stuff in capitals, different states. Texas is one. This is Austin, 8,000 views. There were hundreds of people there. Evidently, are close to a couple hundred. I don't know. We're going to get into more exactness on this in a moment. But let's get into closing this down here. Protests erupt nationwide. I don't know how many other places are being protested. I know they've talked about Wisconsin and two other states that have protests going on, I guess, as well as Texas. So there's at least 3 or 4 states doing this, at least.
The economy has been shut down for almost 4 weeks, and Americans have had enough. As tyrannical governors extend lockdown orders, police force citizens to wear a face mask, and even fine people for attending church, Americans are beginning to stand up for their constitutional rights amid this unconstitutional shutdown. Before we get into all of the ways Americans are standing up against their local and state governments, let's do a quick refresher on the Constitution and the First Amendment, which states that Congress shall make no law restricting the freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of press, or the right to petition. But
That's Article 1. Got that? Amendment 1, excuse me. Amendment 1.
Freedom of press or the right to petition. But let's focus on those first 3 freedoms, starting off with the freedom of religion. Churches all over America decided for Easter Sunday to stand up against the social distancing orders that forced them to close their doors. In Mississippi, the Temple Baptist Church decided to hold a drive-in Easter service, where attendees congregated in the parking lot. To ensure they followed all CDC guidelines, the church had all attendees stay within their cars and listen to their pastor through their radios with their windows rolled up. However, despite following CDC guidelines, police officers began issuing $500 fines to attendees, even though the city was still permitting citizens to attend nearby drive-in restaurants with their car windows rolled down. In Kentucky, churchgoers who attend...
That's crazy. But again, you gotta fight for your rights or lose them. Maybe this will wake some people up.
Easter services were met with nails scattered in their parking lot and police threatening to record the license plates of attendees to force them into a 14-day quarantine. In protest, citizens still attended church services, covering their license plates with cardboard in an attempt to evade the police. And more church attendees and pastors are beginning to stand up. In Louisville, a local pastor sued the mayor for trying to stop drive-through church services. And pastors in California have also followed course, suing Governor Gavin Newsom for the COVID-19 orders that force the closures of churches while still allowing Costco and local marijuana and liquor stores to remain open, arguing that if people use social distancing to visit these locations, why can't they use the same measures when attending church? The DOJ has also filed a statement of interest in the Mississippi church case, sharing that it strongly suggests that the city's actions target religious conduct. As coronavirus lockdowns are extended in various states, many Americans have also begun utilizing their freedom of assembly and freedom of speech to protest the extended shutdowns. In North Carolina, more than 100 protesters rallied to reopen their economy, sharing that their governor's stay-at-home orders were unconstitutional and would lead to the death of the state's small businesses. Police were at the protest telling citizens...
Now that's nationwide that's happening. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
...to keep 6 feet of distance, and the event ended with 1 arrest, with the police department sharing that protesting is a non-essential activity. Citizens in Ohio, also angry with the shutdown of private businesses, have resorted to the same measures. In Michigan, citizens are planning Operation Gridlock, a large in-vehicle protest at their state capital to counter their governor's strict lockdown orders, which bar all unnecessary travel between 2 homes within the state and stop the sale of gardening supplies. Their goal is to get 500 cars to gridlock Michigan streets to make their unhappiness with their governor's strict lockdowns known. As the government allows abortion clinics, liquor stores, and marijuana dispensaries to remain open, deeming them as essential businesses, Americans and their families are eager to reopen the economy and to reopen their private businesses so they can begin paying their bills and feeding their families again. With a record 17 million Americans unemployed in a matter of weeks, and the COVID-19 death projections used to shut down the economy proven wrong every single day, Americans are beginning to stand up against these unconstitutional government shutdowns with a message that is loud and clear: reopen the economy. This has been Savannah Hernandez for Action 7 News.
It's about time we started some uprising. It's about time we got after some politicians. We have been sleeping way too long. Wake up, America. Lose it or use it. But just no in between. And I think you're going to see more and more of this over the summer and spring and fall. And by fall, if they don't have stuff moving along, you're going to see some major activity in D.C. Major people moving to D.C. and rioting. This is wrong. Period. Abortions increasing, sale of marijuana and alcohol. Are you frickin' kidding me? How is that essential services? Wrong. While small businesses die. Wrong. Just abuse of more powerful corporations and government. Period. The big boys are going to be smelling like roses, and the small businesses are going to be dying like stink in the field. It's Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Now, on the positive side, we know that the numbers are going down. We need to be opening up. We know that for a fact the most endangered populations are nursing homes and elderly care. They need to be tested. The other people need to be tested, and we need to go back to work. Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Good day. And thanks and support Alex Jones and InfoWars. Good day. I still don't know what the Chi-Coms are, but I'm trying to learn. Must be corporations that are run out of China.
Against the American people, and then block out any news or information that's truthful or accurate about how you can prepare yourself, how you can protect yourself, how you can boost your immune system, about the origin of the virus, about the cover-up, about the World Health Organization being on the payroll of the Chi-Coms, and how they had a director of the World Health Organization that worked for Xi Jinping, and the huge scandals that have gone on there, and all of it. It is Thursday, April 16th. The year is 2020. We are exactly 200 days out from the election, and the federal courts are ruling mail-in ballots, no driver's license proof needed. The secret plan to steal those battleground states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio, and Iowa, as well as New Hampshire, are now in play. There are so many reasons they launched this bio-attack, great panic, great scare of 2020. And it is a real bioweapon. It is a real novel manufactured virus so that the multinationals can own it and finally have a vaccine for the common cold. I'm going to cover that later. You see, you can't have one for the common cold. Everyone knows. I talked to them on the street. I go, why isn't there a vaccine for the common cold? Talked to 3 people this morning at stores, 2 women and a man, and they both went. The checkout clerks, they both go. All 3 go. Well, because there's so many thousands of mutations of it. And 3 separate times they knew. I really felt good. Well, then how do they have one for this? And see, I'm always next year's news today. We've got huge news breaking right now, but I want to tell you what's coming next. When they come out with their forced inoculation and their antibody tests and all this, it is a giant certified fraud. And I have scientific studies I printed up here in front of me already saying that. The French government's going, well, wait a minute. Why are we going to have an antibody passport when they don't test right? It also says you have COVID-19 if you test for the cold. That's why this thing's so perfect, folks. Anybody dying that had cancer or a heart attack or diabetes or was already in a coma, that's most people dying. They are being counted as dying from COVID-19 if they have any type of cold virus in them. And people year-round have cold viruses in their body at any one time. That's why this is all so scripted, prepared from the start. Just like HIV was a group of viruses they were using and different bioattacks they were doing, that they would just claim if you had the HIV virus, that's what did it. But it was really a whole constellation of other things. And I knew this when I was a little kid. Because my dad was in the medical community and he knew some people that worked for the government. And they told him point blank that that's what it was. But the point here, oh, and who was running that? Fauci, same guy.
Fauci was running it.
By the way, those people that told my dad that were high-level CIA. And I was a little kid hearing this because my dad did dental work on some of those people. And I'll just leave it at that. But I grew up knowing all this stuff. And that's what's so frustrating, sitting here, hearing all this today and seeing so much of the public buy into this when the whole thing is a giant hoax, ladies and gentlemen. The virus is real, but the rollout, the deployment, the hysteria, the vaccine, the implantable microchip ink to make that's in the vaccine. I mean, this is a nightmare. This is beyond anything you'd see in a science fiction dystopia movie 30 years ago. It's happening. The tyranny's totally real. But the rollout and all of it is a hysteria and a hoax. And notice, right as Trump and others begin to try to reopen the economy, the Democrats all announce, sorry, now you've all got to wear masks to leave your house. And then as Trump tries to reopen, they're going to go, no, actually, you're not allowed to go to the grocery store for a week or two. Get your food now, like Michigan's now doing, like California is set to do as soon as Trump tries to reopen. And we have that from the state police in California. That's called holding the country hostage. So we didn't just tell you that the Wuhan situation was where the virus came from out of a bioweapons lab. Now AP reporting it all, confirming word for word what we said and our experts said. We told you they would then hold the East and West Coast hostage and say we're never reopening. And we follow what the UN says, the World Health Organization's our boss. And so Trump had to chop the head off of that because that's hijacking our country. Who made them the leaders of the nation? There are real people dying from this virus, just like there are real folks that die from the cold every year. And it is souped up. But if you look at the graphs compared to other viruses, it's very weak. It's just communicable, so everybody ends up getting it. So we're all suspect, we're all bad, we're all involved in the hysteria and accept the new way of life, which is the technocracy. Let me do this. Let me tell you what's coming next. In a possible future that is so nightmaric, it's almost impossible to illustrate verbally. Versus the future we could have if we simply wake up to the fact that there are very evil forces mixed in to government, private corporations, and private life that hide behind that and that need to be identified. Now, I'll do that next segment. I want to just mention some of the news here now. And I just want to be clear. We could not be at a more dangerous crossroads. The absolute future of humanity hangs in the balance right now. This isn't just the build-up to the New World Order, and if we don't get mobilized, it's going to take over. It's launching its big assault now. And this emergency they're setting up will never end and will only get deeper and darker. You will instantly be poor. You will instantly have less medical care. You will instantly be a prisoner and not have mobility. You will instantly have them medically come force hundreds of vaccines into your body, and you will slowly die.
Jeez.
You see, when they start giving people vaccines...
I'm going to end it here because it's pretty dark. But if we don't wake up and fight for our rights, they will be gone. We have to mobilize and be smarter than we've ever been before. This is so dark and so serious, but through corporations, through Chicoms, through bad political elections, and through people that have already been appointed that aren't elected, this is bad. I hope to hell this is only part of it, but I fear that it could be much, much worse than even Alex Jones is reporting. It's Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Take it or leave it. I'm going to give you the source for this because this is groundbreaking news. Good day.